Live from MMA Fighting Studios, this is Between the Links. And now, your host, Mike Heck.
The iconic voice of Estelin welcomes you to a brand new edition of BTL. Happy Thursday to us all, back at our new time at noon Eastern. Appreciate you all joining us. We're going to have a little fun. We're going to mix things up a little bit in celebration of the brand new MMAfighting.com. Hope you guys have checked out the website. It's very cool. We give you guys the opportunity to hear to let your voices be heard a little bit more, and that's sort of the theme of today's program. It's not going to be your typical Q&A show where we just fire off a million questions. No. Only the best of the best will be discussed on today's program. So let us introduce the combatants. A little MMA fighting infighting today. First, let us say hello to Mr. No Gray Area, the hot take kid, the climber of all climbers. I believe his climb bet is in for UFC Vegas 109, the one and only Jed Bashu. Where is he? Oh, come on.
Yeah, Otto has decided that he would like to compete today. He's ready. Look at him. Look at that face. He's ready to go.
Oh my God.
Mostly he's like, God damn it, let me down from here.
Yes. Already trying to cheat. And you know what? As we say in MMA, cheating is a terrific strategy. Look at Otto. Just living the dream.
Vote for Jed.
There's the zoom in, and his opponent, I don't know if he's got a dog or any kind of pet that he can show off on today's program. There I am. Back on the show, our road warrior over at MMAfighting.com, the social media guru, the one and only Jose Young's fellow Red Sox fan. And it's been a damn good time being a Red Sox fan, Jose, has it not?
Yeah, it's been a blessed time. You know, the Roman Empire continues on for the next however many years. Christian Campbell's locked up. Let's just get Marcelo Myers healthy. Let's get him locked up. And then we basically have the big three for the next 10 years or so. So life is great. I went to Boston a couple weekends ago, and I saw Shohei Ohtani strike out 5 times in 2 days, and the Red Sox won both of them. So I had a great time myself.
Yes.
10 out of 10. Good time.
You got to go to one of the greatest places on earth, Fenway Park. It's a great place. I haven't been there in quite some time. I have to go back and visit. But guys, today's program is going to be a little bit different. We don't have any topics sort of laid out in place because it's kind of a weird news cycle week. And we did get a big fight that was announced today, so we could certainly talk about that if you guys want to. So leave your questions in the chat. We will choose 2 or 3 of the very best. We also did a little fishing on the brand new MMAfighting.com and put up a little post in the feed where you guys could put together your questions. What do you want to talk about? I know Conor's in the news, but most of the comments were, I don't want to talk about Conor or John Jones or WWE or anything like that. So
Conor in the news? What was Conor in the news for?
He's back in the testing pool officially.
Oh, I see. There's pre and post the new website for me, and that was pre-new website.
Yes.
That was a catastrophic day. And that's anything before that is pigeonholed to a very different timeline.
Yes. So Casey, our producer extraordinaire, he will be in control. He will decide what questions we are going to go with. So make them good because we're going to be very selective today. So Casey, what are we going to talk about first?
All right. Honestly, I like this. This is real fighting, right? This is real between the links in. You know, no prep, no training camp for an individual fighter. You show up and you scrap.
I'm really happy that we're having an episode of the A-Side at 12 p.m. Eastern on Thursday, August 7th.
Bring it back.
All right, first question from...
And we are not in the back. We are up front. Someone on the internet will get that.
Oh, okay. So shout out to Like Scrap. This was an entry on the feed. So we'll see what you guys got. We'll discuss. Jed, we'll begin with you. The UFC, they have put together some good cards. They put together cards that have officially happened that will not be remembered. And there are certain fighters who have made a lot of noise, and there are certain fights that we would like to see booked. So Jed, I ask you first, what are your top 3 fights that have not been booked yet that you would like to see before the end of 2025?
Okay, everyone knows number one, and maybe it's cheating given the circumstances. But I am aware that Dricus du Plessis is going to beat Khamzat Chimaev in a little over a week from now, and so the number one with a bullet, not close, is Dricus du Plessis versus Reiner de Ritter. It would make me very happy if that was the December pay-per-view headliner, and God hopes that's the case. Number two. It's not officially booked, so I'm going to use it. I think all signs seem to be pointing, and certainly some statements being made suggest that it's happening, but it's not booked. We haven't remotely confirmed it at all. Jose is not here, so I'm maybe going to vamp a little more until he comes back too. But Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena. I know that both Islam and Habib have said that fight's happening at MSG. That's not been confirmed. I don't believe that's remotely official, even if that is sort of the target. So yeah, give me the champ fight for sure. The pound for pound number one fighter in the world moving up. That'll be my number two. And my number three, so we're not going to get Nunes versus Harrison before the end of the year. So I'll set that aside. Trying to see if there's anything else that I would like before I go with it. Nope, let's do it.
You know what? I was gonna say you could think about it.
I
drop a couple.
I have a fourth if I needed it that it was going to be my backup, but it feels like we've forgotten about this fight maybe happening because that sort of just seems like the thing that's going on these days in women's mixed martial arts. But Valentina Shevchenko defending her belt against Zhang Weili, that would be. I think that's a fight that should be happening, and so make that happen before the end of the year.
All right, Jose, what are your top three fights that have not been booked yet that you would like to see before the end of 2025? Whether it's fights that are just super fan friendly and will sell a lot of pay-per-views, or just for Jose's high level of mixed martial arts. You're muted.
All right, play charades.
Yes.
Show us which fighters by acting out their motions. C, I think that's A-B-I-Y. Cowboy?
Cowboy versus?
I'm not really sure. What's happening right now? What's their finishing move, Jose, as he's just blinking in and out?
The Stone Cold Stunner.
This is incredible. Well, you tell us. You tell us, Jose.
This is.
I have no idea why he is muted. It's not you, Jose. It's something being weird.
This doesn't make any sense at all. On the nose.
I don't know what to do.
Jose, just write it and put it up to the camera.
Yes, this is a great idea. It's a great idea. This also could just be a tremendously smart plan to just take as much time as he needs to think about this, which in essence could be one of the more brilliant moves in the history of the program. He's got the whiteboard. We got a marker. Anyone care to take a guess in the chat of which fights he's going to pick?
Let's see. You're doing great.
Oh, that's a pretty sizable whiteboard. He might be able to fit all three fights on there. This is. Let
me tell you, when this goes on the podcast network, people are going to love this segment.
So Jose is writing down his selections. Maybe we'll insert some game show countdown music, a la the Newlywed Game. Volkanovski versus Movsar Evloev from Jose Young.
That was my backup fight. That was my 4.
It would make sense right now because Aaron Pico's fighting Lerone Murphy right now. Co-main Islam versus JDM, so he's with you there, Jed.
I mean, yeah.
And let's see what the third one is. I'm intrigued by it all.
It's kind of exciting.
It really is. This is
an air of anticipation.
Let's just mute one contestant every round. Because I think this would be
And today, that every round might be a Jose.
Umar Paul Hughes too. That's a good. Ooh. Yeah. All right. I like that a lot. Not UFC. Look at that going.
That'd be Usman.
Oh, Usman. Yeah. Not.
I was a little confused for a second, but now we got it. It's all good. It's a Nurmagomedov, and that would be a hell of a fight. I think he's still writing. Now I don't know what's happening. He's going to give us a fourth because Jed already revealed his backup. Corey versus Sean O'Malley. Now I'm curious, Jose. Is this a prediction?
I think
Corey
that's R
winning
in sign language. Jose, I think R is the fingers crossed in sign language.
Yes. I'm wondering if this is a title fight or he's predicting Corey loses to Merab and then we get
Tom Jailton.
We're getting a lot of picks. He's still writing.
No.
Oh, and we can hear him.
You can hear me now?
Oh, what? Yeah. Yes, what just happened?
He just kept.
Has this all been a ruse?
No.
Have you been pantomiming that you can't speak this whole time?
No. For whatever reason, it was.
Are you Seth Rollins? That's right. I made a wrestling reference.
I was spelling out Casey unmute me in sign language.
Oh, that makes more sense then.
He's so bad.
CASEYU.
Yep, that's yeah.
UTE.
Yeah, there you go.
He is so back. Wow, Jose.
I have no idea what happened. That was weird.
You did a hell of a job there. I gotta say.
There you go. Also, Umar versus Paul Hughes would also slap, even though Umar is much tinier.
That would be a really interesting fight.
It'd be really fun.
Yeah, because I was starting to write Umar versus Petr Yan, and then for whatever reason, I changed it to Paul Hughes, and then didn't change Umar.
So, just kind of following up on the Usman versus Paul Hughes thing. We had the town hall with Jonathan Coachman, and obviously Jonathan Coachman has come from the professional wrestling world. He was part of WWE for quite some time. And when asked why they haven't booked that fight, Coachman said, you know what? Let's build a lot more of a long-term storyline. We had Paul Hughes fight already. Let's have Usman fight somebody else. I think Archie Colgan is the guy that he is going to fight now, right? Because he won whatever this number one contender fight is. Is this smart, Jose? Like, I know it's not. Why are they doing this?
I don't know. We talked about this, I think, on a pre-fight Q&A. I think it was when Johnny Edlin lost, and we were just talking about like PFL stuff, like should they run it back right away? And I said, yes, run it back right away, because that's the fight people want. And I know people like tournaments are fun, and if you win a tournament, you should get a title shot. But that didn't work for Bellator in the early days. Just do it now, because we also agreed that for as much flack as Bellator got for their weird, because luckily when they would do the Grand Prix, 9 times out of 10, the finals was what fans wanted. Like you got McKee versus Pitbull in the finals. You got who was the welterweight one? Was that Douglas Lehman Rory at one point? I can't even remember. But we got matches we wanted to see. And then when they announced the light heavyweight one, everyone was like, oh, Rumble versus Romero, that's the fight to make. And then we were like, God, they're going to put them on opposite ends and something's going to happen. And thank God they announced, like, it obviously didn't end up happening for various reasons, but when they announced Rumble Yoel Romero in the first round, everyone unanimously was like, thank God Bellator did not do Bellator things and just pulled the trigger. Do that, PFL. Just do Usman Nurmagomedov. It's the best fight you guys have ever had. Like, that is the best 5-round fight that's ever happened in the PFL. The rivalry is already there. If you're going to do Artem Lobov versus Zubaira, just do the main event, another famous Irishman and Dagestani, and run that one back. Just do it. It makes the most sense, and it's the fight people actually. There's not a lot of PFL fights that people are like, I can't wait. As you guys said when I wrote that, there's not how many are there 5 PFL fights that are like, I can't wait for that. I need to see this one. Paul Hughes versus Usman is like right at the top. It's right at the top.
What do you think about this, Jed? I mean, you're more into the pro wrestling world and storyline building. And look, UFC can put any fight on and people will watch and people will cover it and it's all good. There is no real like big PFL rivalry right now. I mean, we kind of have one with Usman and Hughes, and I guess they're kind of building one with Ebelin and Costello von Steenis with the way that fight ended. So do you try to just continue to build this rivalry as much as possible, or do we just strike where the iron's hot? Because if Usman beats Hughes again, like that's 2-0, and sure they could do it a third time, but then we have to kind of do the long-term storyline. So how do you feel about PFL just kind of waiting, letting these guys fight one more time, building this up even more, let the trash talk continue on until it reaches a boiling point?
Jose is 100% right. The PFL can't afford to wait. It's just that simple. The UFC has the they are structurally ingrained, right? Like they could have, how many events would it take? Like just dog shit UFC events would it take in a row before it affected the UFC in any like meaningful way? A lot. Like they could go at like maybe even a full year of just absolute garbage before fans were like completely lost faith in the product because they have monopoly. And that's sort of how that works. PFL is not that. Like there is no intrinsic like fan. They don't have a fandom. There aren't PFL fans out there. There are MMA fans who will watch PFL because it is available, but there's nobody who is a PFL fan in the way there are UFC fans. And so you're not playing the same kind of game. You can't, build a storyline out over the course of a year or years and hope that it works there. If you have something people are interested in, you need to hammer the shit out of that as quickly as you can. And that's a tough way to do things, but it sort of just is how they need to go. Is like, all right, let's just keep making people interested, because the moment a PFL event is over, nobody's talking about PFL until maybe the next event is happening. So it's insane. I don't think it'll hurt. Like we'll probably get there in the end, but like, what if we don't? What if something happens and then we've lost like the one interesting thing they had going for them right now? Just another instance of PFL really not seeing this through clear eyes.
The one question I have is like, what if Usman or Magomedov just says, I don't want to be here anymore? Because they've said it publicly. If you don't want to be here, don't be here. We'll let you go. And they've let some pretty significant names go. I don't know if they'll let Usman go, but if he puts up enough of a stink, they just might. They're trying to build other stars like Thad Gene, and Dakota Ditcheva's re-signed with them, which is probably the most important piece of the puzzle. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we got a fun Logan Storley fight because of that, Gene. That's for sure. It was
the only time that's ever been said. That is literally the first time that statement's ever been made.
And I'm glad that this could be the show that we can make said statement. So, all right, we got one question in. Keep firing them away. Again, we're gonna take only the best of the best. But round one is in the books. We have some continuous audio from Jose, so we're going to continue on. The point for round number one in this mystery extravaganza goes to...
I think you should give it to Jose. He overcame adversity.
That's right.
Yeah, he sure did. He is the Frankie Edgar of this program.
The struggle.
Point for Jose Youngs. Nicely done.
Man's out here eating jam sandwiches. Just working.
This is my flu game.
Yeah, this is usually
right. This is my bloody.
No, I say bloody sock. The bloody sock.
This is my bloody sock. Except I'm not a racist and an asshole.
Yeah, that's better to not be that.
Yes.
Let the confetti fall. Yes, we love Kurt Schilling slander on this program.
Yes,
he helped us win a World Series, but it is all good. Casey, what is the next topic of discussion? Michael J. Caboose. This is also courtesy of the feed. Is Ilia Topuria hurting his own star power? Defensive Nelk Boys interview with the Israeli Prime Minister, refusal to fight certain contenders, etc. Or what would be your version of power slap that if you had near unlimited funds, you would help make a league or sport for fun? Okay. I kind of see where he's getting at, but let's start with Ilia Topuria, Jose, because Ilia Topuria won the belt 6 weeks ago against Charles Oliveira and is the new lightweight champion of the world. And since then, he has said a lot of different things. There's the Paddy Pimblett fight that is potentially on the table. They had the face-off that was sort of impromptu, according to Dana White. There's Justin Gaethje, who continues to say, hey, I want this title shot. I deserve it. And if you don't give it to me, or if you offer me Paddy Pimblett, I'm just not going to do it. It just tells me you don't want me anymore. And then I think one of the strangest quotes that was called upon yesterday while Casey was at the Khamzat Chimaev media day and workout is he said if the UFC offered him Arman Tsarukyan for his first title defense, he would rather vacate the belt than defend the belt against Arman Tsarukyan, mostly because he feels that nobody gives a shit about Arman Tsarukyan. And Arman basically called his bluff and said, all right, man, well, just vacate the belt and then I'll fight somebody else for the vacant title. So do you feel that over this past 6 weeks, Jose, that Ilia Topuria has, I guess, not done himself a lot of favors, or is this sort of what you expected from him?
I don't. This is not a cop-out answer, but I think it's like way too close to him beating Charles. If he had sat out a year and he was still like rapidly refusing, then I think we would be having a different story. But I think if the UFC goes, I don't think Ilia is going to vacate, and I certainly don't think he's going to not fight Arman next. I think if the UFC comes to him and goes, you have to fight Arman, he's going to fight Arman. I don't think Ilia is one of those guys like Conor that'll just disappear into the ether and never defend his title, nor do I think he's going to hold up the division. I truly think Ilia will fight Arman. I think he just doesn't, for the reasons you said. Probably not the bigger name, like the Paddy fight's bigger. Maybe the Gaethje fight's bigger. Maybe there's another bigger name out there for Ilia to build his star power out. But I truly think if the UFC came to him and they go, hey, you're fighting Arman in Los Angeles in January, I think that's going to – I am very confident that will happen, especially if it's there, because January, I believe, is January is their first pay-per-view on their new broadcast partner, correct? That would eventually be the plan. I would assume they want to go to Los Angeles again like they did last year. There's a massive Spanish and Armenian population in Los Angeles. I think that would make a lot of sense. But no, I don't think he's hurting his legacy yet, because he hasn't. The UFC hasn't said anything about, like, how many times has Dana said we've offered Tom to John? Like, it seemed like every press conference he's like, that's the fight, that's the fight, that's the fight. And then John kept saying no, and that was much more of a hit to John's legacy than Ilia just going on some shitty streamer and saying, I'm not going to fight Arman, because the UFC hasn't even publicly said anything if that fight's even the one to make. So I don't, too soon to tell, long story short.
What do you think, Jed? I mean, especially with, part of the question was the Nelk Boys interview and sort of defending the Israeli PM stuff, which, it is what it is. But do you feel like Ilia is hurting his own star power since winning the belt and kind of going on the media tour and just sort of saying the things he's saying?
Probably not, but maybe, I guess, is my answer. Like, I would, in a normal timeline, I would say yes, because basically since he's won a title, he's just a deeply obnoxious person. He just is. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. And like in a normal world, that would be like, oh, people would just be less interested in you because the things you say are like cringy or just like real lame or like obviously stupid. But like, he's been doing this since he won the featherweight belt. Like, I am old enough to remember when he was like, I'm going to knock out Volk and I won't fight Max because he lost to Volk 3 times. Why would I fight Max? And he goes and fights Max. Like, he just says stuff. And a lot of like, there's the meme of like, idiots think this, as you get smarter, you think this. And then the wisest man thinks this. Idiots are like, he's just trying to be Conor. But I actually think that they might just be right, because he's just saying stuff all the time. And it's always just like super cringe. I am no longer El Matador. I'm La Leyenda at 27 with 1 belt. Like, just in most aspects, people would look at that and be like, bro, like, just do less. Just do less. You're really good. You can be that. Like, do you remember how much shit people gave LeBron his entire career for being cringy? But LeBron is sort of the exact point to why he's not actually doing this. Like, he'll catch some shit for it, and he should, But ultimately, this is one of, if not the very best fighters in the world. He's very young, and he's probably going to be undefeated and put together substantial, significant wins for the next few years. And so it'll all come out in the wash, right? Like, as long as he keeps actually winning, people will be inclined to look the other way when he transparently ducks fighters. And he doesn't duck them because the fight hasn't been offered. But like he's actively out here being like, I would like to fight Justin Gaethje, who got knocked out previously. Like, before he won the belt, he's like, Justin Gaethje, I'd like to fight him. Well, he just got knocked out to Max. Of course you'd like to fight him. Patty Pimblett, let's do that. Like, most people think you're going to be a minus 600 favorite against Patty. I don't want to fight Arman. Yeah, like, I get it. From a prize fighting standpoint, I get it. But he just doesn't. I have tried really hard to just not pay attention to what he says anymore, because he's a tremendous fighter and I love watching him compete. I don't need any other part of it because it's all awful.
But then you just see him like walk up on stage at a concert in a stadium, and like the entire place is singing his walkout song, the Desperado.
He has aura. Just shut the 100%. Fuck up. Like, you could just let the aura do the talking. You don't have to like open your mouth and prove that you're kind of weird. Like, you could just be like, okay, cool.
Jose, do you feel like, if you're looking at this through a UFC lens, right? Because they cannot go wrong right now, and they're clearly promoting to a different audience that they were in 2016, right? They're promoting to newer fans. They're promoting to sort of a younger generation, the ones that will sit behind a keyboard and talk shit and think they could beat up all the fighters. Like, these are the types of people, these are the types of fans that they are trying to bring in that will probably have really short shelf lives, but this is what they're doing. Does the UFC look at what Ilia is doing right now and saying, all right, we are going to strap the rockets to this guy? Or is this just like, should they be worried, I guess, that they have maybe another Conor situation on their hands? I know it's early, but Ilia's kind of been this way since he won the belt, even before so.
I don't think they have any reason to be worried yet, because like Jed said, he said he wasn't going to fight Max, and then he ended up fighting Max, and then he kept calling out Islam, and then when Islam went up, it's not like he chased Islam. He fought the next guy up. I just think it's too soon. If Dana White goes on a press conference, or Pat McAfee or Jim Rome or any of these other weird shows that he's on, and says Ilia turned down Arman, he refuses to fight Arman, then we can have a conversation where we have another Conor McGregor. But also, Conor never defended his belt. Ilia's defended the featherweight and then went up to get the lightweight. So he's already ahead of Conor in that aspect, not in star power, but in terms of doing what Conor didn't do. And he just seems willing. He seems willing to fight, not as rapidly, because let's not forget, Conor became a superstar because he fought very frequently and won spectacularly. Ilia hasn't quite done that. He's won spectacularly, but it's been like twice a year. If he fights again in December or early January, I think we have a bona fide superstar in our hand, especially if he fights Arman and does to Arman what he did to Max, Volk, and Charles. I think we have a genuine, absolute superstar in our hands. But I agree with Jed. He's a very annoying human being. He's a very annoying human being, that's for sure.
Jed, do you think what do you rate the UFC's interest right now, if you had to guess, in booking Ilia versus Arman Tsarukyan right now?
Pretty low. I don't know why. I don't know
it's
why
so crazy
they'd be interested. And that's that's why you don't have to say shit if you're Ilia. You could just ignore it, because like there's not a big groundswell from fans. Like, I think that's the best fight, certainly.
Agreed.
But there's not like a huge amount of fans who are like, Arman must get that. Everybody's kind of like, Arman had a title shot and he blew weight. I know he didn't technically blow weight. He got sick or whatever. He got sick because he's cutting weight and he blew weight. So like he has to earn it again. That's like if the UFC isn't trying to force it down your throat, then why even say anything? Like, why just be like, man, like, why here's the biggest issue. Why say something that then you can look like a dumbass about? Because I at the time when he was like, I'm not fighting Max, I was like, that's a very stupid thing to say. Because one, you're definitely going to fight Max. And two, you should want to fight Max. So like just saying you're going to beat Volk and then refuse to fight Max is a very dumb thing. And then when you fight Max, you're going to look like an idiot. Well, There it goes. Like, if you come out and say, like, I will refuse to fight him and then ultimately fight him, you're going to look like an idiot. And if you win, no one will care. But if you lose, then it'll be like, wow, I guess you really did want to fight Arman, and that's why. Like, you just don't have to say this stuff. You could just be like, he could just say dude, nobody gives a fuck about Arman Tsarukyan. And that's it. You don't need the second clause of, I will refuse to fight him. You just be like, nobody gives a fuck about him. People want to see me fight and kill Patty. And that would be fine. And look, he's 28. God knows I was a huge dumbass at that age. And I was far less accomplished than him. But man, it would be cool if he had just like one PR person on his team. It was like, hey, say less. Just say less. Say less.
Yeah. Arman weighed in as the backup and made championship weight and all that. But apparently that didn't win him over.
That was a helpful step per Dana White, but not like got him in it.
Yeah. You're not fully cleansed yet.
Arman also said he'd be down to clown with Dan Hooker in October, if that gets in the shot. So, like, if Arman goes and just cooks Dan Hooker, give him shouldn't have to, first of all. Just make Arman Ilia in December or January. If he goes out there, just fight Dan Hooker. I would like to see that fight. And then
I'd be fine with that.
Then you really have no argument about not giving Arman the title shot.
But just book it. Like, just book him a fight.
Agreed.
Like, if Arman needs to earn it by fighting, just book him. He wants to fight. He said he'd be ready to fight in September, October. Book him a fight. If it's Dan or literally anybody else that has a ranking at lightweight, put him in there.
Dude, and if you're Ilia, I know Casey actually, I think Casey disagrees with me on this because, like, based on historical thing. Dude, if you're the champ, you could just call who you want to fight. Like, you could just do that. And a lot of times they'll just make it happen as long as it's reasonable. So instead of being like, I'll fight anyone that's not Arman, or I'll fight X or Y, just come out and be like, I want to whip Paddy Pimblett's ass.
We
had a face-off. Well, no, but like, that's the only thing he should be saying. We had a face-off in the cage. He and I have had beef for 5 years. I want to kick the shit out of that Skousen douche. Like, let's go. And then, like, give people something to gravitate towards as opposed to reject. Like, I'm not interested in Arman because I want to fight Patty. That is something that people can proactively get behind as opposed to just being like, why don't you want to fight the guy who's got the number one next to his name? It's like, feels real easy to do, and he's just not.
All right. Let's get to the Can you pull that question back up, Casey? Because I am curious to get some answers. Jose, I'll ask you this. What would be your version of power slap? So a different sort of sport that if you had near unlimited funds, you would help make a league or sport for fun.
Do you know when you go... I don't know the terminology for it. It's not in my lexicon, but when you go to like a lake or there's like a pool or some large body of water and there's that giant inflatable blob and you sit on one end and then it drops and then someone very heavy jumps on the other end and you get catapulted into the air. I don't know what the official term for that is. We can make up one for the sport, but yeah, that's what I want. I want that. And then you have like several people like the dunk contest holding up numbers and you're like, that's a 10 out of 10, just doing cool shit off of a blob. That's what I want.
Oh God, that's
think of the amount of sponsors we could fit on a blob.
Yes,
but,
TKO,
but you can't wear sponsors on your swim trunk. Sorry.
Okay, so this is definitely a TKO product.
Yes.
I respect that. Shout out to the movie Heavyweights, which was the introduction.
That's literally what I was thinking of.
That's amazing. Jed, what sport would you like to put on the map, so to speak, if you had near unlimited funds, if you had that Tony Khan AEW money, and you couldn't fail? What would you do?
I mean, if I'm too big to fail, I read this question wrong, and my immediate reaction was like a combat sport, and I just slap boxing. Like, why are we doing like turn power slap into slap boxing? That'd be fun as shit. Just two dudes out there going at it, just slapping each other. Nate Diaz, he's perfect for it.
Chess boxing is fun to watch too.
I say they they're trying to make chess boxing a thing occasionally. Great. We can do some slap boxing. Other sports, that's an for other sports. I don't know.
It can be combat, whatever you want.
No, I mean that would be my choice for a combat sport, just because I think it's fun. But like, Jose's has a great idea. I think.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever watch trampoline at the Olympics? Like, it would basically be that you're just launching people and doing flips. And trampoline at the Olympics is one of the most fascinating things in the world to watch.
Yes, the first ever X Games was in Providence, Rhode Island. Fun fact, and I went. I was probably 7 or 8, and one of the events was synchronized. I think it was synchronized. It was synchronized bungee jumping, and they were doing it over the Providence River. And I, like 7-year-old Jose, thought it was the coolest thing in the world.
That is pretty cool.
I think they called it the Gravity Games back then.
Oh, yeah, I think you might be right.
It was a good time, and they never came back to Providence. I was very disappointed. And also, why they chose Providence is beyond me.
Because they were like, yes, come, please. It was probably the easiest place to go. And then, yeah, I don't know. Well, there's some ideas. There's sports that just have not hit the map and haven't been done right. Let us know what you guys think. But let's move on.
Did you guys watch the pillow fighting, the Hector Lombard thing? Look, pillow fighting's got some legs to it. I think they need to work on the rules, but pillow fighting I'm interested.
It was actually like way more fun to watch than I thought. I
loved it. Way fun.
Yeah, it was very fun. That is also on the feed. If you haven't seen the full Hector Lombard Czech Congo pillow fight,
Czech Congo,
that is on the feed. You can check it out. Hector Lombard actually was like, Dana White, Lorenzo Fertitta, take over the sport. It'll be fun. The point for round number 2 in this mystery box edition of BTL goes to Jed Meshew. 1-1. Nicely done. Congratulations. All right. Casey, what is the next question? The round 3 topic. Oh, we're searching. Lazy Bed. Okay. Which is the more impactful story of these 3 and why? 1, the updated unified rules. 2, the WWE signing broadcast deal with ESPN. 3, the Florida State Athletic Commission Executive Director Timothy Shipman being named the president of the ABC. So, yes, these are all things that happened this week. Jose, we'll begin with you here. Which is the more impactful story? The unified rules getting a little bit of an update. WWE's new broadcast deal with ESPN. They'll be taking over PLE starting in 2026. It'll be part of the new ESPN streaming service. Or Timothy Shipman. We're getting more Florida when it comes to American combat sports rule sets and commission-like things.
Now, I'll answer this a little differently than probably expected. It should be probably 1 or 3. Those should be the answer. But as someone who runs a social media account for probably the biggest MMA company in the world, in terms of people actually creating conversation, it's the WWE. So take that for what you will. I just think the unified rules probably should be, because anytime you make major overhauls in rules, that should be the topic of conversation. But I don't think fans know the rules to begin with. So when you tell them they changed, they'll be like, well, all right, like I'm still going to watch it the same, and they're still going to assume they're not going to notice any difference outside of if it's a major, like when Patty threw the 12-6 elbows for the first time. That was something like optically much different that we hadn't seen. I still don't think fans are going to notice. The Florida State Athletic Commission thing, I don't think, I would hazard a guess, say 99% of MMA fans don't really care about athletic commissions. They just want to watch fights. They just want to turn their brains off and watch 2 people break on each other's faces. So for us, it's probably 1 or 3, and it should be 1 or 3. But in terms of what I've seen on social media, the WWE going to ESPN because right now it's on Peacock, and then everyone was up in arms because they thought they were going to have to pay an extra $30 a month or something, like $29.99 a month. And then when it came out that if you already have ESPN in your YouTube TV, your cable package, or you're paying for ESPN already, you don't have to pay anything else. It was like universally celebrated as like, great, now we can get WWE on ESPN. What does this mean for the UFC? Is UFC going to Netflix? Is UFC going to do the same thing where they have all their fight nights and everything on Netflix, but their big pay-per-views are on ESPN? Is this laying the groundwork? That was probably, if there were 1,000 tweets, 999 of them were about the WWE deal and how it affects the UFC. And there was maybe 1 or 2 tweets from fans, I'm saying, about rules and the athletic commission. Because obviously in our line of work, we're going to see all of our colleagues talking about the actual MMA news and not the WWE broadcast deal. So as someone who's, again, it's all fans cared about with the WWE stuff.
Jed, what say you? I mean, Jose took a little bit of a different direction. What are you thinking here?
I mean, I guess the question is impactful to who in terms of MMA.
Right.
It's not number 2 because it's WWE. That's almost certainly the actual most tangibly impactful of these if we're looking at it just like holistically, because I don't know, y'all watch wrestling, or to some extent, I don't know how that's going to, you now, do you have, are they on Paramount? Where's WWE? Peacock.
So
well, now you have to
it's
buy
weird
ESPN and Netflix and Peacock.
And
and
CW.
So is Netflix just has the PLEs, correct?
No, Netflix has Raw.
I mean, Peacock has the PLEs, the paper,
and they have the library. So one of the
library.
But I think the ESPN deal does not include the library. So I wonder if the library is going to stay with Peacock, who has now announced they're raising their prices. It's just a mess.
You guys fucking remember when we were supposed to be liberated from cable and we just got worse cable?
Yes.
Like, that's just all that happened. Is instead of buying a cable package, you have to buy 8 different fucking packages. Yeah. It's so infuriating. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. That's going to be the most impactful because a lot of people watch WWE and they're not going to have to spend more money. Like, that's just going to be the most tangibly impactful one. If you're talking about in terms of MMA, I doubt that. Maybe that makes it slightly more likely that the UFC re-signs in whole or part with ESPN, but I don't think that that's like a huge mover there. The updated unified rules is probably the answer. I have never been a huge fan of Mike Mazzulli, so him not being in charge of the ABC, I don't frankly know that much about Tim Shipman, though being ahead of Florida is probably not like the strongest start. But I don't think Mike Mazzulli is very good at his job. So him being out, I'm supportive of. But the updated rules I think they are good clarifications. I don't think they go far enough. But like they're starting to finally like draw real concrete lines about stuff in a way that I think will clear up some clarification, hopefully make judging a little bit better. So I'll go with 1 in terms of MMA because that is a thing that will manifest multiple times a year in fight scoring.
Yeah, would definitely agree with that. But do you feel like, I know a lot of people feel like WWE going to ESPN, it kind of helps the UFC stuff. Like, I don't know if UFC is just going to stay full bore with them, or if UFC is going to pull a WWE and just go to multiple different networks and maybe the pay-per-views just stay there. I don't really know, but was that news, Jed? Did that say, okay, UFC is going to be sticking with ESPN for sure in one way, shape, or form?
I will say that I kind of have been of the impression for a while now, based on reporting, that they're going to be split between multiple entities. And I am now like really certain that the UFC in whole at some level will stay with ESPN. I'm sure they'll stay with Tough and Contender Series and some number of events. Maybe it is just the pay-per-views and somebody else gets other, but it'll be fairly surprising if they're not at least in part with ESPN, given ESPN, I mean, now they're with the other half of TKO, so why wouldn't they be?
Jose, if the UFC makes the choice to stay with ESPN in some way, shape, or form, true or false, Power Slap becomes part of that package.
Ooh. Funny you mentioned that. Did you see who had its own actual ESPN desk in New Orleans for an event? Power Slap. I'm sure none of you noticed, but there was a Power Slap event and the ESPN desk was there to talk about it. So I think where there's smoke, there's fire. I can't remember. It might have been ESPN2 or ESPNU. I can't remember, but like, it's one of those things where They probably did. I don't know why it was there. I don't know if it was Dana asked the people in charge of ESPN, or ESPN asked Dana, because apparently like Appalachian State lacrosse just wasn't available to put on. But I don't remember. I don't know if I know it wasn't on the mothership network, just big ESPN. So I'm assuming it was ESPN2 or ESPNU or ESPN Plus or something. But I know the desk was there. I know that was there Friday in New Orleans. Why? I don't know. But where there's smoke, there's fire.
That would be, especially like with this new streaming platform, it would not shock me if they're like, yeah, we'll
I
stay here.
thought it was. I thought for sure, if you had asked me a year ago or whenever they announced, whenever Mark Zuckerberg announced Dana was joining the board at Meta, I'm like, well, they're just going to stream Power Slap on Facebook now, or Meta, or Instagram, or Oculus, or whatever they do. But the fact that that hasn't become the official home of Power Slap is, I don't know. I'm sure they're going to try to package it.
What do you think, Jed?
Come hell or high water, Dana's going to make Power Slap happen. I don't get it. I just refuse to believe that people actually are interested in it, outside of a social media context. But one of the great things when you have $1 billion entity that has monopoly power over its market, you can just kind of force shit to happen. Like ESPN, take Power Slap, and you'll get some of the UFC deal. Wouldn't shock me at all if that's what happened.
Being there in person, I've been to a few. It's if the people don't get knocked out or knocked down in like the first slap, it's so boring. It is so boring. Like if you go to like a 5-round decision, I'm like, if you go to a 5-round decision, I'm just like, hey, I don't even know how you can score Power Slap or what a decision entails, but I'm like, it's so boring. It's so boring.
Yeah, it just seems like if you're going to go live, because you just don't know you just might be surprised who shows up and like is in attendance at this very sort of intimate setting. So, I mean,
dude, I don't know what you would have to do to get me to go to one of those. Like it just says, I would rather sit with my friends around a fire and hit them. Like that sounds way better.
And it's weird.
Just a way better use of my time.
Because like Dana doesn't do scrums much anymore at post Power Slap, but like the two big scrums that like whenever Dana talks, we get obviously some news out of it. But when he went scorched earth on Francis, and then he read that statement about Bryce Mitchell, I'm pretty sure both of those are at Power Slap press conferences, not UFC stuff. So like, it's still annoying that it's like you have to tune in just in case something is said.
Yeah, the Don Davis thing. That was a Power Slap press conference.
Yeah. Because that was when I was in Abu Dhabi. Because I was in Abu Dhabi for it, and you did the town hall like that week, and he responded to it.
Tough scenes for Dapper Don. I might actually see Dapper Don in person next Friday. I'm going to be at the PFL Charlotte card. So we'll see. You know, I haven't covered a PFL card yet, so I'm going to go and check it out.
It's a time.
All right. Well,
it's a time.
I'm intrigued by it all, much like I am intrigued by the next question we're going to get. But first, the point... It's not great. But the point for round 3 goes to... I give it to Jed because he might have actually come up with the next big sport. Campfire slapping.
Bonfire slapping?
Bonfire slapping.
Dude, like that would just be a way better use of your time.
I would assume one of our colleagues at our rival site might be a little copyright infringement on his new podcast.
Oh.
Well, we just don't use the.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. Oh, that's how we're going to get around it? That's like Kid Rock not Kid Rock. It's all, I mean, they're all the same. Vanilla Ice is like, Vanilla Ice added an extra hi-hat to Ice Baby. So we didn't actually, we just added a hi-hat at the end. So it's not the same. And I was like, it's just the first 14 notes are the same, but the 15's different.
I was thinking the exact same thing that Vanilla Ice. Nice. No, it's like, there's this dun 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 dun. Mine's dun 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 dun. Oh, it's so great! One of the greatest explanations.
That was an unbelievable bit of.
You know, I mean, honestly, if anyone's going to go to Power Slap, it's going to be Vanilla Ice. So,
100%.
Oh, I have a bonfire story. Not a Mike bonfire story, but very quickly, In high school, we used to do bonfires in people's backyards. Obviously, people were drinking. And this one guy had a gas can with a little spout on it. And he's like, let me get this going. And he walks over and he pours the gas can. I don't know if you guys know how gasoline works. It's extremely flammable. So as he's pouring the spout, the fire goes up and catches the tip of the gas can on fire. So now he's functionally holding a bomb. And he tries to put it out by shaking it to like shake the fire out. And all that does is spurt like flaming gas all over this yard. And everybody else just runs away before this thing blows up in his face before he finally puts it down and steps it out. It was unbelievable.
This was in Georgia?
Sure was.
Yeah. I was going to say, this sounds like it's something in the South. Though
this is the country. This is country Georgia.
Yeah, honestly, props to that guy, because I'm assuming if someone in Georgia is holding a thing of gasoline, they're probably trying to drink it, just based on how that part of it
might have. It was awesome. That has stuck with me my entire adult life. Guy flaming gas cans trying to put it out by shaking it.
Maybe that's the sport. Who can put out the flaming gas can first?
Oh God, it was great.
Casey, what is the next question? Final question of regulation, maybe of the game. Probably not. Back to lazy bed. I'm out of all the things we could have talked about, Raquel Pennington versus Norma Dumont was not on my list. I can assure you of that. But Jed, will begin with you with Raquel Pennington out versus Norma Dumont at UFC. Name one move to save or resurrect women's bantamweight.
Don't know. I mean, like ground floor investment in talent development was like how you would actually save it. I don't know what Brock Lesnar's daughter walks around at. But the Lesnar-Bellamir fight, I know Bellamir competes at flyweight, I'm pretty sure. So like, there's nothing. The division, it's just got nothing going for it. Like to save it, you have to just actively start trying to develop fighters as best you can and putting investment into it. And so the UFC is probably not going to do that. They're just going to let it limp along until eventually it dies of natural causes.
Jose, save women's bantamweight, because apparently it needs saving following Raquel Pennington's exit from the Norma Dumont fight. That's the straw that broke the camel's back.
Well, they just signed Bia, who is from LFA, who is an incredibly talented jiu-jitsu practitioner. Is she enough to drive pay-per-view sales? Probably not, but at least they're injecting some sort of talent from another sport. And then I think that's like step one of, I don't know what step two would be. I mean, there are interesting people to talk to. The problem is they're not putting on the electric performances, because like Eileen Perez is a very good interview in the women's bantamweight division. She talks a lot of shit. She is a character. Everyone wants to see her twerk. I know she doesn't speak English, but if you can speak Spanish, she is a very good and very fun interview. She talks a lot of shit. She was asking for the Kayla Harrison fight before Kayla Harrison even made her debut. So props to her. You just need more people like that, but you also need like, if her style of fighting and her performances were half as exciting as she was or fun on the mic, that it would be a different story. She'd be a big star. You just don't have the best characters. The best people that can drive conversation are Kayla, Juliana, Amanda. Those three. Amanda's coming back. Kayla's going to do her best, but if Kayla beats Amanda, who's she going to fight next? That's any sort of interest. Like Raquel is a nice person. Norma's an interesting person, but like, I don't know. I don't know. You're just going to have to go find some talent somewhere.
Kayla fights Shevchenko after Shevchenko beats Wiley. That's like all you can do. You just can't do anything else.
Yeah, maybe.
It's tough. I think what they need to do is they should probably just sign anybody at women's bantamweight at this point. and let Bia Mosquito just roll all over him. Like just run off like 4 wins in 9 months or something. Just tap a bunch of women in the first round real fast. Just keep bouncing her out there. Like, once every 2 or 3 months, just keep her super active. Let her be like the Kevin Holland of women's bantamweight and just let her rack up wins so people get to know her, because you're kind of running out of options here. There's just not a lot of women's bantamweight unless we do the idea that Jed and I have been talking about for years. Just do women's heavyweight.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Just do women's heavyweight, 135 to 155. Like, just do that.
Anything north of 126 is women's heavyweight.
Yeah. It's just so much easier. There's so many more options, and just do it that way.
Legitimately, the sign fighters, like simply sign. I do like, it doesn't matter. They had 21 women's bantamweight fights in 2024. That's like a fourth of what other weight classes have. You can't have a division that way. Like, you are not, there's no movement. There's nothing going on. If you have 20 fights, you are fighting twice a month, not even, for the whole division. Like, that's unsustainable. Sign anybody and get them fighting.
I just don't know where you can even find him at this point.
Fuck it. Sign Amanda Serrano. She has MMA fights.
Sure.
Is she still under PFL contract? Oh. Bye-bye, Jose. That'll be fun.
DQ win. DQ
maybe
win.
We'll do the knockout round with
damn it, he's back.
He's
I
so
got
bad.
kicked out after my bad suggestion.
Hey, listen, that would be a good one. That would certainly create some buzz. And imagine like Nikisa and Dana White working together. I mean, I think that would create some buzz. Those two like hate each other and don't have anything good to say about one another. So yeah, again, didn't expect to see a Raquel Pennington, Norma Dumont question out of all the possible options here, but this is the mystery show. It's a surprise show.
But this question stumped the panel. There was no answer.
There's no good. No, the answer is it can't be saved.
Money solves everything.
Yeah, but there's no money.
Bantamweight fighters, because that'd be fun.
It would, but they're not going to spend that money.
No, they certainly aren't. All right. Well, that was round 4, and the point for round 4 goes to. I mean, Jose was in an advantageous position because he got to wait to hear Jed's answer first, so he gets the point.
Well, wasn't Jed's answer, I don't know?
His answer was,
yeah.
Correct. Well, I didn't know.
Yeah. Like, to be fair, I've lost between the links when Brian Campbell literally said, I don't know, and then everyone voted for him. I was like, that makes sense.
The Just Bleed guy.
Otto, get over here. I need you again.
All right, well, it's time for the knockout round. I don't know
the question.
Yes, I don't know what the question is going to be, but each of these gentlemen will have 60 seconds to answer said question, and then you guys can vote for the winner on this special mystery edition of BTL. And moving forward, the new and improved MMAfighting.com, there will be a question. There will be a piece in the feed where you guys will get to determine the knockout round question. Should it get that far, it probably will, but you guys have the opportunity to determine the knockout question in the feed each and every week. We'll let you know how that works. But Jed, you are the last man in this panel to get a victory. Do you want to go first in this mystery knockout round? Because I don't even know what the question is
honest to God, I don't remember the last time I won between the links.
I'm certain I know what the question is, but I'm gonna go second because I gotta go get Otto so he can be in the picture with me, and I can win. So I'll go second while I round up the dog.
All right, Jose is here. Casey, what is the knockout round question, buddy?
It's gonna be so hard.
Oh, I'm choosing the question. Sorry, I thought you.
Yeah, you're choosing all of them.
Oh,
yeah, I don't know what the fucking question is.
Oh, sorry.
Choose the question.
It's the People Show.
Talk amongst yourselves for a moment. Sorry.
All right, there's
I
Otto.
suspect the question has to do with the fight that was announced moments before we went on air.
Yeah, we should probably do that question. All
Let's
right,
do
you know what? Don't worry about it, Casey.
We got.
Okay. All right, pull it
I've
up.
definitely seen that question in the chat too.
All right.
Yeah, let's go with that.
All right. I'm gonna do this. All right. Your question comes from good friend, longtime commenter, Mr. Joseph Bosa. Oops.
What is this? The Center for Ants?
So yes, big news. UFC Rio, October 11th has a main event. It is Charles Oliveira versus Rafael Fiziev. And curious your thoughts on this fight. Jose is a fan of high-level martial arts. It is coming from the lightweight division. But to add a little bit of seasoning to this question, are you concerned that Charles Oliveira is coming back so quickly after being colded by Ilia Topuria in a fight that he said it's never been knocked out cold like that before? Are you concerned at all? So thoughts on the matchup and thoughts on Oliveira's quick turnaround? Go.
I mean, I'm always going to be concerned. I mean, I love the fight in a bottle. The fight itself rules. Anytime Charles versus anyone is going to slap, and Rafael Fiziev versus just about anyone is going to slap. I know the Bustamante fight wasn't that great in Baku, but nonetheless, now that he's back in the win column, it just felt like he was fighting a little safe to keep his job. Now that he's back in the win column, he fights like he did against Gaethje those 2 times. This fight is going to be awesome, but I always think if someone gets knocked out cold, not TKO'd, not like ground and pounded into submission, like if you go to sleep, you should not fight for minimum 6 months, because going to bed by getting a hammer to the face is not good for your health. I think Charles should have stayed away until probably first quarter 2026. I want Charles to, or 2026 or whatever. I want Charles's career to be as long as it can be, and I want to see him fight some more, because if he gets knocked out again by Fiziev, you got to think the end is near for King Charles.
All right. Thank you, Jose. Let's go over to Jed and Otto. I wonder what Otto thinks about Charles Oliveira.
Otto hates Charles Oliveira. I heard him say it.
Yeah. I mean, look at how angry he is.
Look at it. He doesn't care for it.
Otto was like, thank God Ilia won.
Otto, are you rooting for Rafael Fiziev?
Yeah.
He sure is. Look at that. So, Jed, your reaction to the fight, and are you surprised / concerned that Oliveira is coming back so quickly? 60 seconds on the clock. Go.
I was completely flabbergasted. Didn't see this coming. Right? Like, did anyone have this in the Otno card? Great for Oliveira to get to fight in Rio, but this is way too quick a turnaround. It's a quick turnaround against a guy who I think has a good chance of beating him given the circumstances, even though Charles Oliveira, I think, is a better fighter. Fiziev, can crack, and he's coming off that brutal knockout loss. I don't think this is good for his long-term career. And mostly my immediate thought was, wow, didn't see that coming at all. Fight will certainly be a banger. Like that, these are 2 incredibly exciting people. Charles Oliveira is never in a boring fight. Really, really bummed we're not getting Charles v. Max, right? Like, and maybe that still happens, but it just seemed to be a better timeline for Max. Has the hand injury. He's out for the rest of the year. Let's let Charles recover. And then sometime early next year, those 2 dudes can run it for the BMF belt.
Yeah, I think this fight definitely kind of threw me off guard a little bit, but with Max saying that he is out till 2026, I guess it was just like, let's just get back in there and try to get a win and try to dust some of the cobwebs off.
He wants to fight in Rio. I get it, but that's a quick turnaround.
Yeah, the other thing kind of on the Charles side was, and Fiziev could certainly win this fight. I think this is about stylistically as good as it probably gets for Charles, with the guys who are available and who are realistic matchups. Although Fiziev could certainly get it done here. And the other thing is, man, the UFC really likes Rafael Fiziev. They're just giving him so many different opportunities.
A lot of chances.
Listen, man, the fight, I want to see Charles rematch Max at lightweight. Max is out till February anyway. Charles should also be out until February, and then you can just do that. It's not like it's the last time they're gonna be able to fight, but like I want that fight now. Before, I don't want it to be sad. Does that make sense? I don't want to see Charles and Max fight and be like, oh, remember when they used to be great? Just do it now.
Yeah. Agree. Maybe they have other plans for Max. Who the hell knows? Casey's already here, so
I'm here.
He's already here. He's got sleeves on.
Oh yeah. Your winner today with 54% of the votes.
Ooh, this is a
Is
close
that
one.
good? Okay, I was gonna say I don't know. I have no frame of reference on what's close to BTL.
Jose Youngs.
That's
Yeah!
right.
Whoa!
Otto,
Suck
don't
it.
listen.
Suck it,
don't
Otto. Suck it, Otto. You jack-faced butthole. I won.
Listen, Otto. Oh, wow. It got even closer.
It's because,
That's so
I
funny.
mean, Jose just yelled at the
current-
dog.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
All I
Jose's
did was stare at the dog.
51% victory per the poll.
Wow. That's incredible. Casey, I didn't even see him. Casey may have just put the poll on. They got like 18 votes, and he was just like, "Oh, Jose's in the lead. Let's just stop it." Congratulations, Jose. You got it done. Despite connection issues, uses
feel like-
a whiteboard. Well done.
This is like Jessica I winning after losing like 7 in a row. That's how I feel right now.
Anything you want to say? You got 30 seconds. You can talk about whatever you want.
Yeah, man. All love and respect to our former colleagues that are from Eater. You will be missed. It's a very sad time at Vox, but you will be missed. And in terms of what we got going on, obviously I'm going to Chicago next week. We're going to have some Anything But Fighting coming with a whole bunch of fun people on Tuesday. And I got some fun clips of a nice chat I had with Payne Talbot earlier this week. So stay tuned for that.
Yes, I'm curious about that as well, because I'm trying to book some interviews, and I was told you have the run of the mill over there in Chicago, Jose. So, Jed, what would you like to say about the decision, how the fans voted, and Otto not putting you over the top today?
Look, the fans, they saw through my shameless ploy to steal victory, and I got to respect them for that. Game respects game. I tried to juice the numbers, backfired, and I'm going to grow from this. You guys are never going to see Otto on air again. So
Good. No one wants to see him.
No one wants to see that jack-faced, whatever you called him. I don't recall. And I will echo Jose's thoughts about Eater. I won't say any more. You will be missed, and it was a terrible day.
Yes, agree with that. Jed dared to be great, and we should
Sure
respect
didn't. I did not do that.
Super chat. Last week, you guys talked about corner stoppages, and I was in a meeting, couldn't send the super chat. Fun fact: Derek Brunson had the towel thrown in on him in back-to-back fights. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I don't think. But then there was like they don't want to see that. Like, I don't remember. I remember that happening.
It was tweeted at me because it was DDP and Jared Cannonier.
Yeah, that's who it
So
was.
I think officially the Cannonier fight, they didn't see the towel.
Yeah.
Like it got stopped, but there was like a towel thrown. If I'm remembering that,
it was
correctly.
it just worked out.
Yeah,
the towel got thrown in
out.
when the referee was going to stop
But-
anyway.
But the DDP fight, like somebody sent me, because obviously big DDP guys, people were like, "It happened with your boy." Here's the thing. It's like, yeah,
Guys, we just need to get through UFC Vegas 109. We just got to get through Saturday, and then it's on to the big one: DDP versus Hamzat, UFC 319. Casey hit the music. Next week's show, we'll be talking all about that. I don't know how much we're gonna discuss UFC Vegas 109. Anthony Hernandez versus Roman Dolidze. That is the climb bet this week, Jed. Yes, Anthony Hernandez.
sure, Fluffy, let's go. I
right.
think he's just gonna roll Roman Dolidze.
We shall see. I did speak to Fluffy Hernandez. You can check it out on the YouTube channel and on MMAfighting.com. I got an interview with Roman Dolidze coming. Talk to Steve Urseg as well. Check that out. For Jose, for Jed, we'll see you next week. Casey, thank you very much. The iconic voice of Westerland takes you home. Good night, everybody.
Love y'all.
This has been Between the Links, an MMA fighting production on the Vox Media Network.